Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Willis, Wit, and Wisdom. My name is Eric Willis,
And I'm Bob Willis.
and today we are going to be talking about a subject that, for some people, if not most, who go through a deep loss in their life, uh, really kind of wrestle with. And so, Dad, it's this concept of being motivated to
Hmm.
get out of bed and just keep going
That's
after a
right.
loss. So, what's
Yes.
been some of your
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah. It's very difficult because of grief, we want to pull into a shell, and our eating patterns change, our sleeping patterns change. We can't focus, so we pull into the shell for safety, and oftentimes it's hard to get out of that shell to get motivated to do anything. Sometimes we don't want to go to work, don't answer the phone, don't want to get out of bed, don't want to get dressed. We just have a big case of the I don't want us,
Yeah.
and it's real common to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would even say, in addition to it being common, I would say it's normal.
Hmm.
There is
Right.
a level of, and that's the challenge, though, is finding out, okay, is how I am feeling and how I am responding, is it normal or is it not
Hmm.
normal? What's
Right.
what's
Yeah.
right and what's wrong?
Yeah. That's one of the first things I try to do when I'm dealing with a griever is try to help them understand what normal is, so they can get off that guilt trip that they're on because they're not doing as well as someone expects them to. So the once we establish that normal part, then we can build on that and try to get some kind of motivation. I was thinking, Eric, that this weekend is a Super Bowl. Okay. These athletes have no problem being motivated. I mean, this is a goal that they have had. So it makes sense, if you have a goal, you can be motivated to reach that goal. So I think sometimes grievers do not set goals. And I
Mm,
I really think that we need to come to a point where we set a goal. My goal this week might be to go to the grocery store and buy some groceries. That might be the goal. And when we reach that goal, we need to celebrate reaching it, just kind of pull back a little bit, because if we have a goal, we can be motivated. But if we do not set any goals, we can just pull in and be status quo.
yeah, that's a good word because goals can motivate us to move forward.
Hmm.
And this concept, I'm curious to get your input on it, is moving forward, moving on, moving beyond, getting over it.
Mm.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
People are told when we're grieving by some probably well-meaning people. I'm pretty sure most people are well-meaning when they say,
Try to
"Hey,
be.
move on, get over this." But we don't have that motivation to move on. We feel like we still need to sit in our grief for a little bit. So what does moving
Mhm.
on mean? What's that look like?
Right. In fact, some people feel that if they do move on, it's almost like they're being unfaithful to the memory of this person that they're grieving. And so they want to hold on to that. But what I talk about moving on is taking a step toward healing that hurt, but
Mm,
you're taking the memories with you. You can't leave your memories behind you. You're taking that all with you. So it's getting in touch with that relationship the way it is now, and developing what that new relationship is, because you still have an emotional relationship with this person who died. So that's what we move on with. So we're not leaving things behind us. We're trying to identify what we're taking with us as we step into today and tomorrow. So that's what I'm talking about, because we'll never be over it.
right,
It's not like a cold, not like a flu. We're over it. Not going
right.
to be that. No.
Yeah, absolutely right. And so there's this word that came up earlier when you were talking about that guilt, that some people feel guilty in moving on
Hmm.
um, and taking those healthy steps because they feel like they still need to be grieving. I've seen the flip side of that coin too, with people that they feel guilty because they're engaging life again, and
Hmm.
maybe in their mind or some friend or family member close to them says, "How can you do that uh,
Uh,
so
yeah.
quickly after this loss?"
Hmm. Yeah, and one of the things to do is to remember that when we are engaging life and other activities, we're taking our memories with us. So we look for ways to honor our loved ones as we're moving ahead. Whether we have birthdays, anniversaries, events, go to the restaurant that they enjoyed, we're taking those memories with us. That's how we're moving home. So we're not leaving them behind. We're actually taking them with us. I had heard a situation where a friend who was a grief educator had a couple that came to them. They both, there was a widow and a widower, and they found each other, was going to get married. And he incorporated into that marriage relationship and the ceremony of removing the wedding band that they had brought with them, and putting that aside and putting on the new one. So they brought that into the ceremony. You can do things like that to incorporate the memories with us instead of thinking that we're leaving it behind. You can't leave them behind.
No, no. And so the motivation, if you think about setting goals in order to
Mhm.
motivate you to move forward and move on, is really that goal to be healthy, that goal to honor the memory of your loved one. Let
Mhm.
that be the motivation for you to get up, and it's okay to smile today.
Oh man,
Smile
yes.
if you remember your loved one. It's okay to laugh again.
Yeah.
Uh, and so what kind of time frame should people be on, Dad? When how quickly should they engage that process of laughing again and
Hmm.
being motivated to move on?
Right. It's different for every person, of course. Even in the same family, it's different. But you've known me well enough that even in a funeral service, I think laughter is good to start incorporating that because that's real life. And so there really isn't a time frame because it's going to be different. What I see as something to be really helpful for a griever is to grab that safe person, that friend of yours that you can trust with your emotions, and say, listen, I need your help to motivate me. Okay. Motivate me. Uh, let's come up with some ideas that will help me move forward and do some things with you, whether it's going grocery shopping or taking a trip and going to eat. But we have someone that we're accountable to, that we can be emotional with. Find that safe person that can kind of encourage and motivate us to do that. And we will find times that we move forward, and we'll find times that we're moving back into the emotional part. That's what it is. Grief is like a wave, comes and goes. Okay, so we need to allow for that. But some people are ready for engaging just a matter of weeks or months, and other people it'll be years.
Hmm.
It's okay. Whatever's right with them.
Yeah, yeah. So moving at your own pace,
Hmm.
you have permission.
Right, right. Give yourself permission to do that. That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, any more thoughts on motivation for moving forward and moving on that you'd like to share?
No, I was just thinking of an illustration I heard years ago about a man who came in. He was just exhausted from work, and he came in the door and just kind of fell in the recliner, was about to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, the smoke alarm went off, and he started smelling smoke. And next thing you know, he was out in the front yard and he had all of his possessions with him. He was motivated to get out. Sometimes we as grievers need something to motivate us, not a fire necessarily, but something to motivate us. And it may be that friend that calls and says, "Hey, I'm going to go shopping today. Why don't you go with me?" Okay, it might be that little bit. Instead of saying no, just realize, that might be the motivation I need just to, put on my face and go one time and see what it's like. Okay, so a little bit of motivation, then do another one and just ride on because that's what progress is made.
Yeah, good word, good word. And give yourself permission to take those small little steps. Don't feel like you
Hmm.
need to take the whole whole leap forward.
No,
Just take the
no.
small steps.
Right, right. In fact, that could even go for attending church services. You may not be ready to do that. That's okay. Don't guilt yourself over that. But there again, you may need a friend to go with you, sit beside you, and realize if I'm going to walk out, that's just part of where I am right now. And so have that understanding.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thanks, Dad, for the wisdom and wit today. And how can people send you a question?
Right. They can email me at rwillis14 at cox.net, rwillis14 at cox.net, or they can find me on Facebook under Bob Willis. It'll be this face with a little sculpture, I think. And each morning I do a morning moment. It's a little part about grief and life. And so love for people to follow me that way, and they can ask questions. If there's subjects you have in mind, let me know or let Eric know. How can they reach you, Eric?
Yeah, so people can catch me at reclaimleadership.org. That's the website where I push out my content and material. So that's reclaimleadership.org.
Mhm.
And something new I'm starting is called a Monday mindset reset.
It's very good too. I like those. Yeah.
Good, good. So those are coming out every Monday, just to help us reset our mindset and get prepared
Mhm.
for the week ahead. So,
Exactly.
well, thank you, Dad. Love you, and it's great to
All
see you
right.
again.
All
And
right. Love you.
thank
Thanks,
you, folks,
folks.
for joining us. And we'll see you next time on Willis Wit and Wisdom.